In this video, I'll provide an overview of our consumer credit assignment this week. So here we are on our homepage, and I'll go ahead and click onto the weekly modules link. And so here in the week 5 module, this is on consumer credit, and there's no discussion board this week because you're writing a paper on consumer credit. So here is the video that you're watching right now, and then here's the link to the assignment itself that we'll go over in just a moment, as well as some instructions on how to do in-text citations per APA for that assignment. So I'll go ahead and click on the assignment link. And here are the instructions. So for the consumer credit assignment, there's actually two options. You can either do a credit card comparison, where you're going to go to one or more of these websites and find 3 different credit cards and compare them. So I like these 3 sites because it allows you to do a side-by-side comparison of the credit cards so that you don't have to go directly to a credit card company's website and then have to look for information that way. Once you've identified the website you want to use and which cards you want to examine, you'll go ahead and click on this link here that will open up a Word document. And so for the Word document, it has the same instructions as what's in Canvas, but it has this table right here. And so you'll fill out the table. Perhaps you'll type in, here's an Amex, and maybe this is a Capital One, whatever the name of the credit card is, and then fill in as much of the information that you can about each credit card so that you can do your side-by-side comparison in this document. Once you have finished the chart, then what you'll do is write a 1-page, single-space, double between paragraphs, summary and reaction paper regarding your process of the credit card comparison and what you learned. We'll discuss what the paper looks like shortly. But the other option, if you don't have a need to research credit cards and you have a preference on working on debt elimination, you can develop a debt elimination plan using a website called powerpay.org. So if you click on this link, you'll be asked to register, and I'll go ahead and bring us over to that page. And so I'm already registered, so I'll just log in real quick. So if you're new, you'll just click here to sign up for the first time. So there's a couple different tabs here that have different tools to help, but the one we're going to be doing is called Power Pay. And so what is a power payment? And so what this tool does, it helps you keep track of your debts and organizes a debt payment schedule where as you finish paying off a debt, it's going to take that money and move it towards the next debt to pay off. So those are called power payments. So you're maximizing your funds available to pay off your debts. And so the instructions are here on the right, where you'll enter your debt information similar to what you see here, and enter any extra payments. Maybe you'll have a tax refund, and so that'll be that extra payment you put towards eliminating your debt. And then when you have this information in here, you want to include the creditor, the balance, what your monthly payment is, and the current interest rate showing on your statement or whatever you've agreed upon with your creditor. And then it'll calculate the payoff time based on the information. So you want to make sure to click Save here. And then I just wanted to highlight here, this is an example of the debt that I was in right after graduating college. I had some credit card debt. I'd borrowed some money from my mom. I had a small student loan, and I had a car loan as well. Is after you've filled in and saved your information, you'll go over here to the right where there's a payment calendar. When you click on this, it will run a calendar of what your payments will look like over time, including the power payments. And so up here, you can choose a repayment method. Without power payments just means, and you hit calculate, is what you'll pay each month if you keep the same monthly payment for each of your credit cards. So for instance, if I don't do any power payments, it's going to take me almost 4.5 years to pay off these debts, and the total interest is $2,810.95. So now I have an understanding of how much interest I'm paying. Now, what I want you to do in the assignment, though, is to pick a couple of different repayment methods to see what the schedule and the impact looks like. So for instance, I might click the highest interest first and hit calculate. So that means it's going to reorganize my debts where I'm focusing on high interest loans or debts first to pay off. So now you can see under this method, my payoff time is now 2 years and 4 months. So I've knocked off about 2 years in debt and lowered the interest amount that I'm paying over time. And then I'll try one more different repayment method. Maybe I'm curious about the shortest term. So if I click on this and hit calculate, it'll rerun my numbers. So my interest amount changes a little bit. So the interest amount saved is not as high as the highest interest rates first. But this gives me an idea of possibilities in terms of payment. So play around with the repayment methods. Run at least 3 to see how they compare. They might not be that much different from each other, or there might be a big difference. It really depends on the structure of your debt, what the interest rates are, the loan amounts. They may vary for each person. So clicking back, when you're running those calendars, I recommend printing them out so you have them in front of you. I'm not asking you to turn in those calendars or printouts to me, as it has your private information. But I want you to have it in front of you so that you can write your one-page summary and reaction paper in terms of what you learned by preparing a debt elimination plan. Now, for the Appendix A, this is the summary and reaction paper format. It's the same for both assignments, regardless of which one you pick. It's also the same for future assignments that we'll be doing later in the semester. So it's really important that we get very familiar with this Appendix A. So clicking on that, here are the instructions on how to write your one-page paper. So in the first part of the paper, this is part 1, this should only be a short paragraph, and it is a high-level summary of your work. So you'll inform the reader what sources or websites you used and explain your analytical process. So here, if we're doing the debt elimination plan, why you chose these debts, or if you're doing the credit cards, why you chose these credit cards. And then later in other assignments, whatever that topic is, why did you decide to choose these things, right? So this is a very short paragraph providing context to the reader, and it should be objective and factual. Now, the main part of the paper, this is part 2. This is your reaction to the work. So if we think about it in terms of a page, 25% of your page is part 1, and then the other 75% is your actual reaction to the work. And you need to answer these following questions. First, how does the assignment you chose relate to the ideas and concerns in the course? So you want to identify and explain the concepts from the textbook and discussions, and make sure to cite APA format. I'm looking for integration of what you've learned through the course to this assignment. If I don't see an explanation of what is a credit card, or what does debt payment mean, then I don't know if you know what that means. So you want to explain to the reader and show your understanding of the material. The second bullet asks you to talk about how the assignment and the course material that we've read related to it relates to your life, your experiences, and any feelings and ideas that you had. So what were some of the emotions that came up for you during the assignment? Were you surprised? Have you been hesitant around this topic? Whatever you're feeling, share that. And oftentimes it's related to something in your life. So what's been your personal experience around it? Now, the third bullet, this is now taking it away from the individual and looking at the big picture. How is this assignment related to our present day world? So one thing to note is that we're often made to think that individual problems are private, when in fact they're social problems or public issues. If I've got debt I can't pay, yes, that affects my personal life, but it also affects the broader economy. If I can't pay my debts, how does that impact society or my interactions with other people? And so I want you to think about the economy, the community, the world, anything where you can see that reflected in the assignment and in the topic. The last bullet asks you to explain if the assignment increased your understanding on this issue. Did it change your perspective in any way? And explain why or why not. This is the opportunity for you to reflect on your understanding of the issue. Now, the last part of the rubric is in terms of writing the paper. It's worth 10 points. Make sure to support any ideas or points that you make. Simply saying, I agree with, or I found this interesting is not helpful. Be specific with evidence that shows why you feel the way you do. Just think after you make a statement, imagine someone asking you, why? So go ahead and explain a little bit further in answering that why question. Please follow the structure above. Please make sure to carefully edit your paper for grammar, mechanics, punctuation, word use, and spelling. So it is a professional paper, so using slang or overly casual language, it would not be appropriate. Whenever you are citing the textbook, and you must cite the textbook throughout the paper, please make sure to use quotations if you're quoting, or if you're paraphrasing. Make sure to cite using APA style, and so I'll show you how to do that shortly. So please make sure to submit your paper either as Word, PDF, Pages, or rich text format. And then one thing to note about these written assignments, and we have a couple throughout the semester, if you don't do so well on an assignment or you forget to do it, you actually have the option of one resubmission. So you will want to read the feedback I provide and fix any of the issues, and then you can resubmit to improve your grade. Or like I said, if you miss the assignment, you can resubmit it for the first time and also get a grade on it at full credit. Just want to make sure that you title it as revised. So if I go ahead and click back, when you submit your assignment, you'll just click here on Submit Assignment and then upload your paper. I'm going to go back one more time. And then here, right under the assignment, I've got a page on how to do in-text citations per APA. So if you haven't worked with APA before, it's typically used in business writing. What you want to do is list the author's last name and the year of publication. So for instance, our textbook right here, it lists the 4 authors and then the year that it was published, which is 2018. If you're doing a direct quote, you also need to include the page number. This is how you would cite concepts or quotes from the textbook. And then down below here is an example of how you might see it. So here I'm talking about personal financial planning, and I actually use a quote. So I have in parentheses right after the quote, the authors, the year, and the page number. And then I can continue on, and I also paraphrase this time around about the advantages of personal finance. And you'll notice here at the end, it's got parentheses. This time I only have to list the first author. I don't have to rewrite all 4 authors if I use et al. And 2018. Since it's paraphrased, I don't need to put a page number. And if you are curious or need more help with APA format, you can click on the APA citation and style guide here, or you can make an appointment at the MiraCosta Writing Center and they will help you with the APA citations. Or you can ask me. Happy to help. So if you have any questions, just let me know.